Hey there, Selective Collective. This is Kim here with a reading for you all for in between your weekend. I just kind of sat in meditation and I was doing some healing, sound therapy too, from Safen, like Homo sapiens, like Safen Medicine on YouTube. I love that channel for the sound healing. So then I went into the meditation and decided that I would bring this about as a collective message because of what's going on planetarily. And I don't always talk about everything that's going on, because there's always so much going on. But this is pretty significant. So I wanted to talk about how Saturn has gone conjunct with Aries as of today and until September 1st. So that's a pretty big amount of time in between, and it brings a lot of it's bringing some pretty heavy energies with it. So I wanted to talk about it, and then what's coming about to me that sums up this energy too of what it stirs inside a person is reflecting on the Four of Cups energy. Reflecting on the Four of Cups, because this is when we're taking it's a time where you're taking a good hard look at what is immediately surrounding you. And this energy is kind of like forcing us to feel it more than ever. It will, in a very strong intensity. It's an intensity of I'll match your energy if you're around, you know what I mean? And if not, if I'm over something, then complete emotional withdrawal. But we are prone to, you could be prone to really wanting to match energy during this time, because this is it's the warring energy with limitations and financial constraints as issues. It's a time of boundaries, of looking at your own boundaries, but it's also that means it's going to be a time where other people are going to be pushing your boundaries. And then you imagine trying to push around an Aries sign. Just, if you could just imagine somebody trying to push on that sign, it's like starting a war, you know what I mean? Like, that's what the vibe that it gets is that I'm getting from it is that there's so much of the Four of Cups that has happened pre this conjunction that it's going to be a time where you will have to be kind of careful for not making a very quick or impulsive decision. But it is mixed with like really analyzing where you are on what timeline, and if there's some sort of there may be some sort of emotions that come up that have to do with feeling a little bit angry or pissed, and that's okay. You know, those are valid emotions to feel. Sometimes with this Four of Cups, I can feel like there were different alignments that maybe had us more in our, okay, let's be positive at all costs. Let me maintain my own peace at all costs. But at sometimes the cost was avoidance of authenticity when it came to the energy that you were actually allowing yourself to express and feel. And that's really not going to be very possible during this period, I don't think. I don't think it's going to be possible to hold too much inside when it comes to how you really feel about something, anything. So this is the energy of that I feel like is what is going to push or even trigger some people's boundaries. And the good thing about this energy is that it gives you just that power, energy, and force over those things that also Saturn at the same time. It can be very like I look at Saturn almost as like, okay, I figured out the game of the Matrix in a sense. You're like, I figured out a way somehow around these constraints. And Aries gives you the energy to do that thing instead of sitting or waiting on some sort of whatever it is, whatever you think you may be waiting on. And they showed me a person that had a lot of seeds in a room. Like they had a lot of seeds to plant, but yet they have not planted. They don't have a garden yet. They have a ton of seeds. They could plant them. But this whole Four of Cups kind of, I don't know, there's this, most of the time, you can, I don't want to say you can't ever have outside things that, that you need in order to take action. But most of the time, it is that there's some sort of emotion or something within ourselves that we haven't fully allowed ourselves to experience. Because the moment that we fully experience the absolute discomfort in a situation is the moment that we're like, no, I've got to take action. Somehow, some way kicks in. And so for that, this conjunction is perfect for that. Not waiting for this or that, not making an excuse, basically not going to stand in your own way. Well, we use escapism. Everyone does in some way, in some form or fashion. People use escapism. We don't want to feel the complete uncomfortableness of some partnerships, some jobs, something in our life that we're more focused on not wanting that energy instead of actually saying, okay, instead of saying I don't want that energy, if you can look at that maybe metaphorically but also very literally, you're like taking the hose and kinking it. And so yes, we don't want to feel that energy. I get it. But the moment you do, in its full grandeur, in its most uncomfortableness, when the blood is allowed to boil and you're allowed to yell if you want to yell in a field of, let that feeling, that energy not be stopped, because it's not going to stop. It's just going to keep building up pressure. So you have to feel it. Something other than I don't want it. Was the message, because you have lots of seeds to plant, and they really were telling me that a lot of you all are going to be set up in the right condition, when it comes to the plant. If you have a seed and it's for a plant that you absolutely know and have faith that Spirit is doing this for you, that you're going to be in the right spot with the right temperatures, then there's not much other that you have to do than just get out there and plant the seed. Just do that one thing. And I think that is probably good advice with this energy, because it can be impulsive or spontaneous. And so we'll take the good from Saturn and use the strategy of planting the right seeds. And just being very cautious whenever we're saying that we don't want something or we don't want to experience something. Just be very careful about how we word things, what we're saying to ourselves. Most of the time it's like what we're saying to ourselves by how we're feeling, allowing ourselves to feel a certain way and stay. And it can be one of peace and tranquility. Like, don't get me wrong, there can be some very peaceful people out there that are actually in a Four of Cups because the hose is kinked, and there's nothing wrong, but this is that's part of the human experience, all of these different types of emotions. So I don't know, they're just telling me that it would be good to use the best of both worlds, the action, the energy, the confidence of Aries, but also the strategy and the planning and the mastering the matrix, you could say. Got the King of Pentacles coming out, which is usually a person who's very good at business. Could be a mentor. I have the King of Pentacles out with the Empress. That's interesting. With the Empress. This is, if when you talk about mastering the matrix or any kind of earthly constraint or restraint, whatever is holding you down, you feel like it's holding you back or holding you down, this is like a really good sign of whatever it is that you want to create, that you can definitely birth something to life here. Oh, wow. And there's something, I mean, yes, the King of Pentacles, very good with money. Like I said, the businessman, right? They're very good with money, can support the whole family. And then I have the Nine of Pentacles. So I say, something that can be created by you, Empress, King of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, is going to be very fruitful. You also have the Ace of Swords on the bottom. So absolutely, like clarity. This is our two, a focus on our sovereignty, our independence, our self-reliance. And this is the masculine and feminine, right? And so I think that is what's cultivated in you. But they're saying to use the focus of those two energies being blended for some sort of creation here, purpose with the King of Pentacles. So I have the Hanged One, which is being in a period where we're waiting. They have made a really strong message here with me about seeds, about planting. And so there is something that's kind of mysterious that we end up having to wait a little bit for. Perhaps universal laws, karma, balance, Libra energy, the Justice. Can have to do with contracts and partnerships, relationships. Wow. And the King of Wands. But right on top of the stone, that always reminds me of the cheetah. So this could be about manifestation, maybe picking up with something that you are building, creating, master builder. Very inspiring because this king has the right action to take to make it around obstacles and challenges and things like that. Yeah, I would say watch with people trying to push your boundaries or how we are communicating, because it can come across as rough sometimes during this period too, because Queen of Swords was in the reverse. It's about getting back on track, being decisive about your focus, what you want to focus on. The King of Cups. Wow, you almost have all the kings out here. King of Cups, King of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. Now you have the Eight of Pentacles. So something is going to go very good for you with productivity and your work. I see the King of Cups. If this is your influence also, then it's to make actions that are, solid in love, rooted in love. Strategy, planning, Seven of Swords, not telling everybody your plans. And the Page of Wands. So good news with your strategy, or with a strategy or plan, it will pay off, especially here if it's associated with work. Eight of Pentacles, mastery level. Oh, you have the Queen of Wands now too. So you have the divine masculine and feminine. The King and the Queen of Wands, they're like a power couple. Power couple, very inspiring to others. Oh, good. And they gave us the Four of Cups. So, yeah, like a power couple coming together, maybe through work. Here, if you're talking about a person that comes together and they create and build things. Number 9, with your heart being compassionate. And then I have number 12. Creativity is a driving force in your life. Your imagination is rich. You are able to express your feelings and insights in unique ways that others can benefit from. I am a visionary. And that's what I have for you today, Collective. That's my message. I'm sending you love and light. Bye.